My name is Esther Gerritsen. I'm from the Netherlands. I write for theatre and for film and novels. And the book we're going to talk about today is called Craving. And it's about a mother and a grown-up daughter. And they hardly see one another. But when the mother is dying, the daughter decides to move in with her mother to take care of her. Not because she really likes to do that, but because she wants to be a good daughter. And the mother really wants to die alone, but she also wants to be a good mother, so she lets her daughter move in, and it's about how they torment each other with their good intentions. I actually started with the mother, who is a really tidy a word? person who likes to be alone and who's slightly autistic and likes order and quietness. And I thought, what would be the worst thing that could happen to a person like this? And I thought, she has to have a child, because a child messes up everything. It's hard to choose. I really like the difference, when you write a novel, that you are really the boss of everything. I like that. But what I also really like about writing for film is that there's so much that you do not have to do. I do not have to tell how my main character looks exactly, or what she smells, or how the trees look. All those. You can skip a lot. You can keep it with the essence. And it's been really fun to write the mother in the book. Well, she's not a typical warm mother, but because you can, in a novel, of course, you write what people think. You can. Because you show how they think, people can love a person that does really bad things, because she locks up her daughter when she's really small, but she has really good reasons for it. And when you follow her mind, you think, well, why not? You have to have a look inside the head of the main character. I'm afraid so. There are a lot of family relations in my book. I think a family are sort of it's total incompatible people that have to live in one house and grow up together. That's family. That's the fun and the terror of family, that you live with people you would never choose as your friends. No, this is my first book festival in the UK. And I just arrived yesterday evening, and I'm afraid I have to tell you that I was in my hotel room writing, because I have a deadline for a novel. But it looks really nice.
Okay, I'm Amy Mason. I'm talking tonight about my book, The Other Ida. It's a novel. It's my first novel, and it won the Dundee Book Prize, the Dundee International Book Prize, I should say. So it's lovely to be in Scotland talking about it. So The Other Ida is about a mother and daughter. They've got a very troubled relationship, dysfunctional relationship. The daughter is sort of estranged from her family, and she comes home for her mother's funeral. And there's a lot of flashbacks. It's about her relationship with her sister, and there's a bit of a mystery as well. I think I'm quite interested in the idea of, it's a real therapy thing, but the idea of scripts, and the idea that you sort of reenact sort of patterns and behaviours that you've learnt in childhood. And in my book, in The Other Ida, the mother's a playwright, and she actually names her daughter after her most famous play. And it's almost like Ida is literally sort of living out this script, really, of what her mother's expectations were for her. So really it's her sort of unravelling her mother and unravelling sort of her own identity. So before, I've written for theatre, and I make sort of solo performance sort of autobiographical shows. So I had a show here 2 years ago called The Islanders, which was at the Underbelly, and it was about my relationship with my ex-boyfriend, and he was in it. And I've got a show at the moment called Mass, which is going on tour, it's in Exeter in the autumn, and round Devon, and then I'm doing a proper tour early next year, and it's about my relationship with faith. For me, I think writing a show is a lot easier because it's a lot fewer. There are not so many words. literally not so many words. So like a show's like 8,000 words, you know, and a book's like 80,000. And obviously, I find a show sort of easier to structure. You can use different elements, you know, performance and your videos and songs, and you can tell stories in different ways, really. I haven't got a very good attention span, so writing a novel might not be. I sort of got inspired to write the novel. I've always sort of written and wanted to write a book. And it was around the time of actually when Peaches Geldof was going out a lot in the sort of in public and getting in like trouble. And I started thinking about the expectation that sort of the children of famous parents, sort of the expectations that are placed on them, and how, again, like the script is already written for them, people know it's going to be disastrous. And then I started thinking about what if you wrote a girl who was actually named after her parents' most famous piece of work. So that's where the idea came from, really. The way I sort of come up with ideas, it's like I normally like get really interested in one thing, get really interested in another thing, and then there's normally a third, and they can seem really disparate. And then suddenly you're like, oh my god, there's a story there, you know. So yeah, it's really weird. Like I'm writing a new book, and it's about a nun who writes to a man on death row, and then a young girl who writes to the same man on death row, and two women don't know each other. And that was just really inspired by like reading loads about death row and getting really interested in that, and then really interested in faith and my relationship with faith. And so all these weird elements sort of, because the woman who writes to him is a nun. I don't know if I said that. So that's kind of how it happens. Yeah, this is more plotty, definitely. I think this novel was something you kind of had to get out, really. I mean, it's a lot about, it's character-based, really, and I really wanted to write, I mean, probably the driving force of it, really, is these sort of unlikable women, and I really wanted to write, I feel like male outsiders in fiction are allowed to be sort of unlikable and nasty, and I really wanted to set myself a challenge, really, of writing these women who, on the surface, are really difficult and unlikable and brazen, kind of. So I think I've got that out of my system, and now this one's a lot more, plotty, really. If I think about who I sort of aspire to be like, I suppose authors who write women's fiction but that doesn't have shoes on the cover. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's people like Zoe Heller, obviously Margaret Atwood, who's incredible, and then even people like Maggie O'Farrell, who's a bit more like, I suppose people a bit more you think women's fiction, but has written some amazing novels. So yeah, that's where I want to be. I want to be on the 3 for 2 table with all of them. I love Edinburgh, and actually I should say that 2 years ago when I was doing that, I actually won the literary deathmatch here. It was the graphic novel one, because my show got published as a graphic novel as well, which was amazing. It was so much fun, and I love Edinburgh, and it's so nice to be coming back now and just doing this event and getting it over with on the first day, and then I'm staying here for like 3 more days. I'm just going to go and see loads and loads of stuff.
Well, I used to bring my daughter when she was younger to the Edinburgh Book Festival, and I booked some sessions here at the book festival. It's actually time spent together as mother and daughter, sharing a common interest. We both love reading, and it's a time to relax and meet different authors. Yes, the subject mattered, and I was just intrigued to hear what it's about. It was actually hearing about a mother using her imagination and exploring her opportunity in writing, and sitting there listening to what she wrote about. It just intrigued me to read more about the story. So we decided to buy the book, and hopefully we'll share the book and discuss it. I think what rings true is that as a mother, you want to do your best for your kids, and I think you always want to make sure that you're loving them, you're doing your best, and hopefully that will be a good example that I set to her, and we'll continue having a really positive relationship.
Yeah.
Good one.
Really
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah. After a
actually.
day's work, came here, had a cup of coffee, and just really chilled together.
Yeah.
Yeah, an opportunity to meet.